Welcome to my channel, Corey's Cave. Today, I'm going to show you a way to be sort of a lazy microgreens farmer. One way, when you grow a whole bunch of stuff you don't normally grow, like I just did with 6 varieties of mustard. You can check that out if you want. It's my most recent video other than this one. As an experiment, just to try out, you can take all those and throw them in a mix in some other stuff, and there you go. You got yourself a nice blend. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to start with this giant curled mustard. And I'm just going to cut all this up. And no worries, my hands are clean, my scissors are sanitized, that bowl has been sanitized. Once you've got your first little pass in here, you can start kind of cooking along a lot better, a lot quicker. I like to periodically wipe down my scissors with the paper towel as I go. Keep them nice and clean. So that's it for the giant curled. Got a good amount there. Now we'll move on to the Tokyo Bacana. This one I had a little bit of dampen off here, and I already went through and just kind of ripped off a good section of that, so there's none of that left in this tray. Just to make sure I didn't cut into any of that, don't want any of that in here. We'll go through and we'll start chopping up some of this. Now that giant curled was a fairly spicy mustard, where this one, the Tokyo Bacana, was extremely mild. I thought it tasted almost more like a bok choy. So this will be really nice in this mix. Now as I'm cutting up the Tokyo Bacana, it even smells like bok choy as I'm cutting into it. I think I really like this one. The only problem is being labeled as a mustard, I think I might have a hard time getting people to understand what the flavor is going to be like. So throwing it in a mix is a great way to utilize it. Now we've got our Tokyo Bacana in there. Now for the red giant. This is a very light tray. This did not have great germination, this particular go around. And so there's not a lot in here. Now as I'm going along here, you may be wondering, why do I call this the lazy way? Well, that's a few reasons for that. One of them is that because I grew a bunch of different varieties that I don't grow all the time, and I won't be growing these, all of them, on a regular basis, some of them I will. I don't want to have to make labels for all the different varieties, so I just put them all in a mix and I'm good to go. The other reason is that because I only grew one tray of each variety, I don't have enough to really add up to much in clamshells. So like this would have been maybe 1 clamshell, maybe 2, because I didn't get great germination. The other 2 trays would have added up, you know, to a little bit, but it's still just not worth it for that just small amount. So by mixing them all into one big pile, then I can get a whole bunch of containers out of it. That does it for the giant curled. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot there. That tray had really poor germination. Mostly my fault, I think. Now let's move on to the Osaka purple. This was my favorite flavor of all the mustards that I grew. Now we're on to the red garnet. This one has the best look of them all, in my opinion, and this will add a whole lot of pop to the mix. It'll really make it stand out with all this extra color. Now the red garnet mustard is one that I grow fairly regularly, and I will put this in its own clamshell on its own, not in a mix. Just not this go around. So those are all the mustards are now in this mix. Now I'm going to take some slightly overgrown radish microgreens. These grew a little bit taller than I would like. They're kind of a mess, but they'll be okay. These are organic China Rose radish. They've got a really nice pink stem. Now, anytime I make a mix, I always add radish. If I was making one that was mild, that I really don't ever do, but if somebody didn't want it to be spicy, then you wouldn't want to use radish. But radish is excellent in a mix for quite a few reasons. One of those is it's extremely easy to grow. It's probably one of the easiest microgreens there is to grow. You can get a lot of decent colors out of radish. Anything that's red really will add to a mix nicely. They yield a lot per tray, and they add a whole lot of flavor. So we get our radish in there. You can see the bin's getting quite full. Now I'm going to do some arugula. Arugula is one of my favorite flavored microgreens. Very nice nutty flavor with then a nice spicy kick after. So this is going to be one mega spicy blend. I don't usually differentiate on my mix labels whether or not it's spicy or mild, but I think in this case I probably will say that it's spicy. I'll just put an extra little tag on it. I usually just call it Chef's Blend, but in this case it's going to be Chef's Blend Spicy Mix. Now for our final tray, we have True Leaf Market's spicy salad mix, which has some arugula, cabbage, some mustard in here because we don't already have enough mustard. I think there's some purple kohlrabi in here. There's broccoli in here. There's lots of stuff in here. All right, you can see we got everything in there. None of these trays were high production trays. They weren't even grown to be that way. So there's not going to be a ton here for the amount of trays that I dumped into this. You would probably expect to have like twice as much, but that's not what I was going for. So now we're just going to mix this all up. Try not to make too much of a mess. And I can tell you, without a doubt, this is going to be a spicy mix. Like, I can smell that it's spicy. So I always try to mix it as gently as I can. Kind of just gently get my fingers on stuff and just kind of roll it around, shake it. The idea is to get everything blended in without like crushing any of the microgreens or destroying them, damaging them too much, because I want these to last. I like to get about 14 days shelf life out of my microgreens. Some do better than others, but I usually get pretty close to that on a mix. It's a pretty nice looking blend. Now I'm just gonna let this sit right here while I go finish making dinner, and then I'll come back and I'll package it up. All right, I am stuffed. Had a huge dinner. It's time to get packing these up. These are Dart clamshells. I believe they are 14 ounce. They may be 12. I'll have to look, and I'll throw a link in the description for you. So what I am doing is I'm putting in 1.5 ounces per package. So zero out my scale here. 1.55. Once you get a system going, you can really kind of move along. You get so you'll be like almost spot on every time. These are nice because they have this tamper resistant tear off. So if you open them up, it'll tear that and flip open, and you'll know they've been opened. So it's going to be quite a few packages here. $1.55 again, exactly. So I'll get these all packaged up and get right back to you. All right, they are all harvested up. We ended up with 21 packages, I believe it is. So that's not too bad, the amount of time that's invested in this. Here are my labels. Yep, even my email and phone number are on there. So give me a call and I'll ignore it. Maybe I'll answer it, but I'll probably ignore it. So I have my stamp here, just a cheap stamp I got at Staples. That wasn't super cheap, but I can't remember what it was. So what I do is I add 14 days to the day that I harvested it, and I have a Best By date here. Just kind of line that up. Boom. And I'll stamp all my labels, and then I put them all on the package, and that's all there is to that. Now, when I was selling in restaurants, which I haven't sold in restaurants since COVID hit, I was using a harvested on date because you get a chance to talk to the chef and you can tell them, you know, it's a harvested on date. But I find that in stores, people look at a date and they immediately think expiration date or Best By date. And so if it's a harvested date and it was like 4 days ago, somebody might look at that and just immediately think, oh, that's already 4 days past due. So that's why I've switched that up. So there it is, all packaged up, ready to go. Beautiful looking little package here. These will retail for $5, and my cost that I get for them is $3.50 each. Don't make a whole lot of money, don't lose any money. I do this a lot as a hobby. If I was growing like a lot more, it'd be a lot more efficient. But I'm just doing such a small amount right now, especially now with COVID, that just, you know, keeps me going. So let's see, we had 21 packages, so 20 would be $70, so $73.50 is what my take is on this. I have no idea how much I have in seeds and everything with the way I made this, with it all being mixed and everything else, but everybody wants to know how much you charge for things, so that's why I tell you. Most people probably won't tell you. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, definitely give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and check the description for links for all the different things I used. Thanks for watching.